Hello, peeps. So, first, I want to start off by saying that I'm a Christian. I was raised a Christian. I grew up in the church. I came up through several different denominations, but mainly evangelical. Now, I remember back in the early 2000s when we invaded Iraq and later Afghanistan. Over here, our media was talking about the Muslims are fighting a holy war. At the time, I wasn't thinking like this. I was thinking that, yeah, go get them, and everywhere I saw a turban, I was in fear because the way the media made you feel is that everywhere there is a turban, there was a bomb, right? And we didn't know any better. And I was very young. I was much younger back then. Now I understand media and I understand how the media can control thought by by showing what you see and what you hear. What you see and what you hear provides thought, creates thought. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. Right? And for years, I thought the Muslims were bad people and the Muslims were terrorists. And slowly over time, I start to realize that there are terrorists that are Muslims. That was the first thing that I started to realize. And then later, I realized how those terrorists were created. Marcus, some of those people could have been radicalized on their own. But from my understanding, if you invaded my homeland, disturbed my way of life, try to impose your way of life on me, saying that your way of life is the right way to live. So, for example, say the Muslims invaded the Western world and said that Christianity was the wrong way and that the women should all wear a veil and the man should pray, I guess, all the time, every day at noon, just for example. And that's not what we're used to. Our religion is different. Our way of life is different. Our way of life is Christianity. We would fight back. But then the Muslims start calling us terrorists because we're fighting back. And that's exactly what happened. But we thought we could bomb those people out of existence, not realizing that everyone that we bomb, we radicalize another one. Because that child who saw their brother, their sister, their mom, their father got blown to pieces by us, they're hell-bent on having revenge. And remember, with their faith, they're willing to die. much easier than we are. Right? Now back to we saying they were fighting a holy war. They didn't invade themselves. Alright? I don't agree with a lot of the way that they live, their laws and their practices. I personally don't. But who am I to tell them that what they're doing is wrong? How do I know that my way is the right way? Right? Live and let live. Right? Fast forward to today. We see Christians who say that they follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. Follow Donald Trump, who's not a Christian, who is not a man of empathy. And I'm holding back my tongue, trying not to call him an evil man. Right? With everything that is in the Epstein files about him, and with everything that is in the Epstein files, I think there's 3,000 times more about him that we do not know. Plus what he said about himself, like grabbing them by the you know what and other things, and things he said about his daughter. Now Christians are fighting a holy war. Christians are mobilizing, financing, engaging in, providing for, and fighting in an unprovoked war. Let that sink in. The people of Christ the people who say that they follow Christ, pastors who say that they follow Christ, are in churches preaching about ending a whole bunch of lives. I've lost my way along the way growing up, and these are the people who brought me back to Christianity, because I started realizing that this is what the Bible told us about. All the false prophets and all the signs to look out for. And I'm seeing all the signs. I'm seeing all the false prophets. I'm seeing all the wars and rumors of wars. I had started to believe more in signs and became more spiritual, and I still believe in those things, and I'm still those ways. But these people brought me back to Christ. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna put my foot in a church and pay your tithes and pay your offerings so you can fly around on private jets and finance wars. These modern day Christians are evil incarnate.